Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Dicey Dungeons. I'm back. I'm in a little square down here at the bottom. I know you're like, that's not a square, it's a rectangle. 720 by 720, baby. Seems like a square to me. Anyway, why? I don't know. Feel like it looks better. Feel like it cuts off less of the screen. It's a more concentrated, like baseball card size egg. Plus, you know, because it's got less pixels, it's a little easier on the old PC. It's getting up there, but yeah, you know, that's not the predominant reason, sort of. No, get rid of that game, please. So I did unlock the final character, and we will play as them. But first, we gotta play as the Inventor. Now, I will tell you right out of the gate, and we're gonna stick with, you know, basic Inventor episode. I like the... I like the warrior. Oh my god, I didn't even realize the screen is so off. Why didn't you tell me the screen is so off? That's hilarious. Oh well. At least we didn't get all the way into the episode without it. I like the warrior. I love the thief. I'm in love with the robot. The Inventor, I'm kind of like, eh. So the gimmick for the Inventor is that every single fight, when you win, if you win, you have to sabotage one of your pieces of equipment to become a new passive gadget. Oh, I almost knocked over this old protein powder here. It would have been a heck of a mess. So when we win our first fight, we're going to have to get rid of one of our 3 pieces of equipment. Now, that piece of equipment will give us a benefit, but simultaneously, we're constantly gaining and removing new equipment. So I think it is a little curated. I think it's, you know, it gives you more equipment in the map as a result of this, but still, you have to keep in mind, like, you don't want to do like 3 fights simultaneously or consecutively. Otherwise, you might literally like run out of equipment. You want to like fight equipment, fight equipment, fight equipment, etc., etc. So, our gadget right now is Heat Ray, so it'll burn all this guy's dice. Basically, the simple way to play early as the Inventor is you want to use Spanner to create 6s. So basically, if you put 2 dice into the Spanner, like a 6 and a 1, it will always give you the highest possible single value dice plus remainder. So let me rephrase. If you put like a 2 and a 3, it would make a 5. If you put a 3 and a 3, of course, it's going to make a 6. If you put a 4 and a 3, that sums to 7, it's always going to give you a 6 and then the remainder. So 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, etc., etc., etc. You want 6s because 6s are disproportionately good. They do more damage with hammer, but then on top of that, they also give you the shock. And the shock is very important to keep the enemy at bay. He's not going to deliberately kill himself, but he is going to die. So actually, I like hammer as the Inventor, but the constant struggle of like changing your equipment on the fly hurts. Now, the most important thing is, I think, early on, you really want to keep hammer as long as possible, and you want to keep Spanner to enable your hammer to work as long as possible. So we'll get rid of Pea Shooter, which kind of sucks anyway, and we get Staff. Staff gives you burn. So for 8, you deal 6 damage and burn 1 die. We're also going to get Sword, which is just raw damage. I'll tell you, why don't we put Sword out here, and then we'll sack it, because we have to sack something. And we can use Staff a little bit later. Like, another, like, meta strategy for these early episodes, at least as the Inventor, that's worked out pretty well for me, is like, and you can run the numbers here, but I assure you, I would rather do 6 damage and 1 shock than 5 damage, 1 damage, and no shock. And hopefully by explaining it like that, you get it, I'm sure. You are going to poison me for 4, which is pretty nuts. That's a great roll. But either way, I can't believe we're still going to get you. Even on our worst roll, we still had lethal. You want to maybe sometimes save good equipment whenever possible. So we'll get rid of our sword, and we get an extra dice. We want to save good equipment whenever possible to maybe use on a boss or on a harder enemy, for example. So Spark burns 1 dice. We might as well come in with all of our equipment. We don't really gain anything by putting it in our backpack. Although, yeah, I think that's true. The only thing that has me thinking is that we might have a choice of 3 equipment, not a choice of all equipment to turn into a gadget, but whatever. Basically, we shouldn't lose this unless we accidentally fight too many enemies in a row. You get what I mean? So this is an example where maybe with Spark available, you actually don't want to use Spanner. Again, we could put 6 and 4 into Spanner, but that's just going to turn it into 6 and a 4. So who cares? So I think what we would actually like to do is a 6 in the hammer for shock, burn an extra dice, and then increment the staff counter. Now the Inventor has some really, really powerful equipment. I forgot what their focus is. All dice become 6. Well, we don't need that yet. We're gonna, no, we're not gonna heal after this fight. So give me a 6 and a 4. Do 6, burn 1 dice, shock 1 dice. I'm gonna let him roll and see if he's just gonna choose to end his own life. I'd rather keep my limit break, to be honest, to use more easily on a, like immediately on a future fight. It might be unnecessary, but that's my reasoning right now. We're not at risk of dying, to be honest. For now, I actually think Spark is a little easier to enable than Staff, so let's get rid of Staff. Check out our next equipment. Bump, you know, again, anytime you look at equipment, as most characters, you're like, do I want this or do I not want this? Like, actively. As the Inventor, you're like, hey, at least it's garbage that I can throw at the condition that you have once you lose a fight. Or once you win a fight, I should say. So, I do kind of like the idea of a bump to get us to 6 and 1, basically create 1 extra die. Then what's the value there? I mean, okay, you know, to be honest, there really isn't one. But we do get an even. Anyway, what I was gonna say is there's very powerful equipment as the Inventor. We have to find it, but that might not be that hard. Again, there's not really much point to creating like a 6 and a 1, but you could do it if you want. Like our limit break is just useless right now. We don't have any benefit to it, unfortunately. We're gonna heal to full anyway. I'm not saying we shouldn't use it. We probably should have used it, but functionally, I think it makes no difference. So again, in this situation, it doesn't really matter because you already get the kill, so let's not worry about it. But you probably do want to combine and then maybe bump something. You can even bump your 6 for an extra dice, and we want to get rid of Spark. I'm telling you, Spanner and Hammer are of the utmost importance. Now, Flamethrower is extremely good. Double dice value, I don't know how you make that archetype work, but I'm obviously confident you can. But Flamethrower is an awesome piece of equipment for us to dump stuff into. You can only use it once per battle, but even if you put 2 1s in here, it gives you 2 burn, which is pretty good. But then if you upgrade it, I don't know, can we preview upgrade? Sometimes I struggle with the interface a little bit. If you upgrade it, it gets 4 slots. If you use your limit break, you put 4 6s in there. It does 24 damage and 2 burn. To enemies that are weak to fire, it does even more damage. Like, it's just extremely good. So we'll probably get rid of Bump as our die for now. So again, like I hate to say it, but we don't really need, or as our equipment, I should say, not our die. But right now, we don't really need. I think we'll do it like this. We don't really need to use our limit break. At the same time, we don't really benefit from holding it, but if we don't benefit from holding it, and we don't benefit from using it, I think I will just hold it, because maybe it'll make a difference later, but probably not. The only downside to having, you know, the Flamethrower is that we only get to use it once per match. So if it doesn't, no, don't make me get rid of one. Let me get rid of Bump. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of Spanner, but I think we're gonna be able to get another Spanner at some point. So Spike requires 1s. I don't know if Spanner's any good for that, but we want to buy equipment. Like scrap metal is cheap, and by buying it, we can equip it, and I'll also upgrade. Let me see. Hammer getting upgraded. It just becomes smaller. It's not bad, actually, but we don't really have a surplus of equipment to begin with. Spike requires a 1, and it only works once, so we're not going to upgrade that. Obviously, we're not going to upgrade scrap metal. Bump being used twice is actually pretty good. But I do think flamethrower, even though it takes up twice as much space, is just a better option. And I actually think, as ridiculous as it might sound, that flamethrower taking up more space might be a good thing, at least for this episode of the Inventor. Because then it means you're more likely to get, as a choice of what equipment to get rid of, you're more likely to get the thing that you want to get rid of. If we have 3 pieces of equipment, obviously one of them is going to be gotten rid of, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. I'll tell you, flamethrower right now is totally worthless, though. Unless, to be honest, check this out. You bump a 6. All of a sudden, not totally worthless, because we got 24 damage plus 4 burn. Don't really need to combine all dice. So if you touch one of your dice, you will die. Sorry. Now, I don't feel like a particular genius for that, but, you know, you can sort of see how flamethrower is valuable, even though it might not look that valuable. Certainly, I mean, for right now, I think we want to get rid of scrap metal. See what we get in here. Hall of Mirrors. +1 dice this fight. That's a weird one, because I think we could totally make it work with a spanner. But I'll tell you for now, well, we do need more dice. But if we get a 6, it's not going to go in there. It's going to take forever. But if that's the case, then we want it out here so we can get rid of it ASAP. Okay, so again, it's a different style of gameplay, but that's okay. Healing Crystal Shovel. We might buy these, but right now we don't have any gold. Counterfeit, duplicated dice. It's twice as big. But I actually think we'll put this in here right off the bat. I don't think we need... I think we'll put it in here and then get rid of it after our fight. But this does allow us, no matter what, to use flamethrower turn 1. So you put a 5 in here, and all of a sudden, you know, 16 damage plus 4 burn. Maybe it's not that amazing, but it locks them down a little bit. We don't need 4 burn, obviously, if they only have 2 dice, but it's the principle of the thing. Yikes. Okay, so we love 6s here. Very valuable for us. We don't really need to duplicate the 6s. Again, that's the downside of having your run focus on flamethrower is once that attack is done, right now we really only have hammer. But, you know, I promise you, in my opinion at least, for right now, it looks worse than it is. I can't kill you, so like, the maximum damage I can do per turn is 6 right now. We're gonna hit full HP after this. And remember, the only reason we don't have a second attack is because we have counterfeit right now, which, I mean, I think it seems good, but it isn't actually that good. I mean, we could do this in the meme way if you want. Okay. So far, we're going. But I will say... We want to get rid of this, yeah. I will say, one of the reasons I don't like the Inventor as much as some of the other characters is because I really do feel like I prefer to build a run over time. And it definitely does feel like... let's go here. It definitely does feel like the Inventor doesn't really build a run. It's kind of, you're constantly shuffling, which isn't a bad thing. But I've never had a run with the Inventor that made me go like, oh, now we're talking. So, I don't know, we want 5 6s if possible. I think the best way to do, I mean, we could just duplicate all dice, use your limit break. It still won't give us the kill, I think, but... It would be nice to have, like, a reusable, just damage source to dump damage into. But again, that's part of playing as these characters. You gotta make hard choices. It's not that hard, because we're still crushing them, like, pretty quickly, obviously. Get rid of scrap metal. I mean, the thing is, getting rid of scrap metal, the effect is actually pretty good, too. So. Yo, that's a great deal for Crystal Sword. I'm trying to think. You know, this is a good... you know what? Give me a minute. I left my freaking water bottle in the kitchen. I'll be back in 1 second. You need water to cool down the cerebral cortex when you play this game. I walked into my door. I'm sorry. I have returned. Trying to think which of these attacks is the best for us. I definitely feel like Crystal Sword. That's another 15 damage. But so I'm not leaving the shop. I just want to look at our equipment. See, right now, like, we have no need for extra dice. So I want to put this in my equipment just to get rid of it. Could we take advantage? Like, what was in this shop? I don't really think an upgrade is in order, honestly. The shovel's pretty good, but it is a 2-slot. So what are we going to do? We're going to get rid of flamethrower, or are we going to get rid of shovel? Tough choice. So I think one of these small attacks is maybe a little better for us. I think maybe we want Keyblade. No, because we don't need dice that much. We really need something... Yeah, I think we want Dagger, actually. Even over Crystal Sword. Even though it's more expensive. My reasoning is pretty simple. And we're just putting Hall of Mirrors here to get rid of it, basically. But my reasoning is pretty simple. We have too many dice for dice opportunities past turn 1. So I think we want to make sure that we have something we can dump extra dice into for reusable damage. Although the rolls do have to be low. So generally speaking, I mean, you're obviously going to be strong to fire. But I would much rather still put 16 damage out there and burn all of your dice. That's a lot of evens, huh? Almost gave us our limit break. Because, to be honest with you, those weren't really like that good from the perspective of Dagger anyway. These ones are, though. Now, we're probably gonna lethal him next turn. So I will do 2 damage to him. But I don't think we need to spend the burn on our other ones. No evens. That's bad luck, brother. That's bad luck. Okay, so Dagger's pretty good. Please, God, let me get rid of Hall of Mirrors instead of anything useful. Beautiful. All dice become 6 is a pretty good ability, honestly. I have a suspicion that there's probably, like, some characters... or some way to play as the Inventor. Honestly, I don't think we care about Snowflake, so we'll toss it in here as well. There's some way to play as this character, I bet, where you just get good equipment and stash it, and then pull it all out for the boss fight. Or, like, yeet your great equipment for an awesome gadget for the boss fight, but not quite at that level yet. But I'll tell you, turn 1... I mean, we're definitely gonna burn all your dice. Hit you for as much as we can. And so far, so good. Locking a dice is pretty bad. So I think what we want to do is hit you for 3. Could freeze your dice. But then it allows you to do 2 times 1 damage. But it does lower your overall roll count. So I actually think this is a pretty good value. Then use our ability. And then we get the shock value out of that. While we have all dice become 6s as a passive, I think we should keep it there. I think we should keep our ultimate there. Our limit break, that is. So again, like, we only need 1 6. So we like this. All dice become 6s. Easy money. Close to leveling up. We got HP we're waiting for. We will get rid of... It's hard, dude. I almost feel like we should get rid of Hammer in this case. Because Dagger has been pretty solid. But to be honest, hammer locks enemies down so well. I think we will get rid of dagger. Like hammer, basically the way I think about hammer is if you fight an enemy that has a low number of dice, or sorry, a low number of equipment, hammer with a 6 makes them essentially completely worthless. So that's what we're gonna hope to accomplish as time goes on. Ray gun, minimum 3. I mean, that ray gun is kind of like dagger. As long as you have a 3. If you don't have a 3, it's maybe a little bit worse for our purposes, but that's okay. Alright, so all we gotta do, we gotta win this fight. If we win this fight, we're looking pretty okay. What does the Kraken do again? Blinds our dice, curses us, and if the fight goes on too long, it gets very good. What do you need for that? Evens. I still think, for sure, you want to use your ults. It's just too good. It does 50% of pretty much every enemy's HP. Oh, I love it. Oh, he took 8 extra damage. That's a 32 damage run then. Yikes. That did hurt quite a lot though. So we have blinded dice. Let's steal one of your equipments because we don't know what it is. Even. +1 damage. Well, we don't know if any of these are 6s, you know? So this is an odd. Let's pop it in there. It's another odd. Maybe it's a 3? That was a 3. Okay. So 3s should go here. And 4s should go here. Don't kill me, please. I'm begging you. No. Oh, he didn't get enough evens. Still pretty painful, to be honest, but... Okay, the curse is the only bad thing here. So what do we look? What's the most important thing? At least maintain the ability to do 2 damage to this guy. So, like... That's fine. We live, and everything's hunky-dory. We got nothing to complain about. We'll get rid of Snowflake. We can copy equipment. Dude, okay, I'll tell you. I got a great idea, I think. Let's copy Flamethrower. Then we can have 2 incredible turns on the boss fight. Hammer is also interesting for sustained damage and double shock capabilities, but I gotta go for the full meme build. We're getting pretty close to the end as well, as long as we can live through the next freaking floor at least. If we have to get rid, we basically want to make it so we have to get rid of either of our 1-slot equipments. That's the way the game's going right now. So we want to open up equipment and HP to ourselves. Honestly, we should fight the Wicker Man, because he's going to be the easiest fight. He's weak to fire. All we need to do is use our limit break and Flamethrower, and he's dead. Might not even need to use it. 16, 17. I don't even know what weak to fire means, to be honest. I want to see how much damage this does. We'll figure it out. It did 40. So weak to fire is double damage. Okay. I thought it was 1.5 times. So we did need to use everything. We'll take P-Gun again. I think Ray Gun is a little bit more sustainable. Equipment is Plasma Cannon. Interesting. It's a place that we can at least put our dice that we don't need. And then let's hit the skeleton so that we get access to more equipment and more HP. There's a little pathing strategy here. So I'm gonna hit you. And then we're still... when I was playing as the Inventor on stream, a lot of people were like, it seems like a waste to not use your Flamethrower with all 6s. But I'm like, I think just putting everything into your Flamethrower turn 1, I'm just surprised he got the best roll. That's why I lost my train of thought. I think putting everything into Flamethrower on turn... That was a dumb move. That was order. Putting everything into Flamethrower on turn 1 is sensible in my opinion. That way you can, you know, focus on, like, your real run after that, if that makes sense. So I want to do 11 damage to you. think I have to use... I wish I didn't, to be honest. But I think we have to do it like this. I wanted to save my limit break, but it is what it is. So we do want to get rid of... I have 6 to all counts. Yo, that seems incredible. Maybe we'll get rid of ray gun, and we'll try to save that for the boss. Might be a little too precious, but electromagnetic magnet. Do 4 damage, add +2 each use. That also seems extremely good, but we got to make some tough decisions here, right? So, by the way, how are we gonna fit 2 flamethrowers, hammer, and plasma? Well, no, we're not gonna fit plasma cannon. We're gonna yeet it before the end. Okay. So we're gonna get rid of electromagnet in all likelihood, but we gotta use it. I mean, if you use it, you lose it. Although we might want to keep that over hammer. But honestly, I really truly believe people undervalue shock. You might be watching this, and he's weak to fire, so he's actually gonna take 34 damage off of this. Yeah, and if he plays 3 dice, he's done. That's all. If he plays 2 dice, he's done. That's right. Oops. So we didn't even get to use electromagnet. And that's kind of like why I don't really like the Inventor that much. But maybe the more we play, the more we'll learn. The more we learn, the more things will fall into place. I honestly feel right now you do buy HP. We're gonna level up. We can't use this HP after we level, or there's no need to, rather. What do you upgrade? I gotta sneeze. Bless me. I think honestly you still upgrade hammer. At least you can fit in 1 more 1-slot piece of equipment on the final fight. And what do you buy here? If we only have 2 fights left. Rather than buy scrap metal, we might as well buy something that gives us some benefit, you know? Now, all I'm gonna ask is you don't make me get rid of something I really like right here. That's the only thing. If you make me get rid of something I don't like that much, that's fine. But I really want to get rid of plasma cannon, ideally. So let's start with rolling extra dice. It's not great, honestly. We want to lower his rolls. Actually, we want to make him... The burn is really good, even though we're not going to obviously do that much damage here. I think you want to combine 4 and 3. And then I still think you want to put the 6 into this. But I do think you want to shock him. Here's the thing. 6 damage is 6 damage, but the shock is unique. If we put it in here... It doesn't matter. The only thing that's the difference is that, you know, if we put a 1 in here, we get no shock, and a 6 in here, we still get the burn. If we put a 6 in here, we do get shock. If we put the 1 in here, we still get the burn out of it. So it's definitely like an incredibly low roll. But I don't think that is the point. But it's obviously not what we were hoping for. So he's going to be going buck wild here. We're hoping for low rolls on the reroll. You're hoping for low rolls on the reroll. You're hoping for lower rolls. That could have gone worse, but we do have a great deal of poison on us right now. So you always are going to want to combine. No matter what, it's going to be +1. So I don't think it matters which dice you bump. I don't think we're getting there. Next turn, though. So we probably will lethal him next. I don't think he can beat us. Unless he gets incredibly lucky here. So, hoping for low rolls. He's got a chance. He's done. No, he's got... You put it in the wrong one, dummy. Who do you think you are? Me? Okay. I mean, we want to combine things that are not 6s, I suppose. Well, not always. That's not necessarily true. He is not dead, for the record. He's... Oh, we shocked actually like an ideal option. Okay, Okay, this is one of the ones where you're just like transparently, you're like, the AI is helping me out a great deal. I appreciate that. I don't think we would have died, even if the AI had played pretty perfectly, but it definitely made it a lot easier on us. So yes, we want to get rid of Plasma Cannon. We get an extra dice. 6 to all counts just gives us so many dice to pop into something. Now, is there anything we can buy for 2 that is useful? No. So let's see what we definitely want to bring in 2 flamethrowers. What's better, bump or spanner? Honestly, once we use both flamethrowers, we're not going to care about bump at all. Or we're not going to care about spanner at all. But it's going to be... Really, we're relying on these flamethrowers. And I think they're totally going to work. But if we have an enemy that's strong against fire... Never fought this guy. We might run into a little trouble. Yo, the equipment before the boss. It takes final 5 HP from vampires. Okay, so he's a vampire boss. I'll tell you what, we'll get rid of bump. And we'll put wooden stake in there. Shouldn't be that hard for us to get 40 roll, to be honest. If this guy has life drain, we might actually lose. That seems like it would hard counter us. Can only be killed with a wooden stake. Vampire. Can only be killed with a wooden stake. He does drain HP, but only on low rolls. So burn is good there, shock is good there. So right off the bat, add 6 to everything. Oh, that's what it means. It's still a good start. I really thought it added 6 to all dice values. To all dice counts. You know, like if you had a 1, it would create a 6 and a 1. Still a really good first turn. Really want to hit him pretty hard on this one. So I think you definitely like 6, 5, 4, 3, and it's valuable because you keep the shock here in order to make it hard for him to move. He's stopping right there. Dude, if we could somehow get enough here. 22. We're so close. There's no real point to hitting him. Like, we might as well dump him in here. But we gotta hope that he rolls pure garbage here. No way. I don't think this is that bad. First off, use this when... Oh, we got him. Anyway. Oh, hey, it's you. So good to see you. I'm just filling in here, but I meant to tell you I'm going to spin the wheel. And then when you lose, I meant to say better luck next time. Okay, here we go. Yep. Better luck next time. That's funny. It was a good run. A good example of how to play as the Inventor, I think. We'll play as the Witch next. My brain's going to melt down, but that's okay. It's fun nonetheless. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. It's a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And check out Dicey Dungeons on Steam. It's really cool. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!